Welcome to Book Buzz Reviews and Summaries. What if everything you believed about yourself was a lie? Imagine, just for a moment, that the stories you've been told since childhood about who you are, what the world is, what you can or cannot be, are nothing more than agreements you didn't even choose. These silent contracts, written without your full awareness, govern your emotions, decisions, and dreams, and yet you follow them every day, thinking they are truth. But what if they're not? What if freedom, true, unshakable inner freedom, begins not by adding more to your life, but by unlearning everything that is not really you? In The Fifth Agreement, Don Miguel Ruiz, joined by his son Don Jose Ruiz, returns to the spiritual wisdom that transformed millions through the Four Agreements and invites you to take a bold step further into mastery. Mastery not over others, not over the world, but over yourself. This isn't about self-improvement. This is about self-liberation. It's a journey of peeling back the layers of illusion, fear, and judgment to discover the radiant power of your authentic self, the real you that has been waiting patiently beneath the noise of domestication. The Fifth Agreement is a simple yet profound declaration. Be skeptical, but learn to listen. In a world overflowing with opinions, labels, and half-truths, this final agreement is your sword and shield, cutting through illusion, protecting your awareness, and guiding you to discern the truth that resonates from within. It teaches you not just to hear, but to understand, not just to speak, but to express from your truth. It is the call to become a spiritual warrior, awake, alert, and anchored in the power of your own perception. This book is not a collection of pretty ideas. It is a mirror, held gently but firmly, daring you to look and see clearly. So, are you ready? Are you ready to challenge everything you've ever believed? Are you ready to break free from the agreements that have kept you small, fearful, and silent? Your journey to self-mastery begins now. The Fifth Agreement, Part 1. Waking from the Dream. Chapter 1. The Smoky Mirror. Imagine waking up to realize that much of what you believe about yourself, others, and the world is a dream, a projection of ideas handed to you before you could think critically. Don Miguel Ruiz introduces this concept using an ancient Toltec metaphor. Life is a dream, and we're all dreaming, but not the same dream. He calls it the smoky mirror, a haze of belief systems, opinions, and lies that distorts our perception. From early childhood, we are domesticated, taught what is right and wrong, what we are supposed to be, and what we must hide. We learn to please others to feel accepted, and in doing so, we often lose our authentic selves. This dream is deeply embedded and feels real, but Ruiz invites us to see it for what it is: a set of agreements we didn't choose, the invitation to wake up from this dream and reclaim our personal freedom. What if your whole life has been based on someone else's story? This haunting question sets the stage for transformation. Chapter 2. The First Agreement. Be impeccable with your word. Words are powerful. Words are magic, and the First Agreement is about using your word with integrity. Ruiz reminds us, words can build, but they can also destroy. When you say something to yourself like, "I'm stupid," you're casting a spell. The word becomes a weapon, one you turn inward. But the reverse is also true. When you speak truth, love, and respect, your words become medicine. Being impeccable with your word means not using it against yourself or others. It means speaking honestly, but also kindly, without gossip or judgment. This first agreement lays the foundation for self-mastery because language shapes your reality. When you change your words, you begin to change your dream. Your word is the power that you have to create. It is a gift. Think of it as a paintbrush and your life as the canvas. Chapter 3. The Second Agreement. Don't take anything personally. What if nothing others say or do is really about you? This chapter delivers a massive truth bomb. We all live in our own realities, and people's opinions are just projections of their own dream. If someone insults you, it says more about them than about you. If someone praises you, that too is their interpretation, not your identity. Taking things personally is a trap. It feeds your ego, makes you reactive, and keeps you chained to other people's drama. Ruiz says, don't eat the emotional poison. whether it's admiration or insult. Don't swallow it. This doesn't mean you become cold or detached. It means you free yourself from being controlled by others' thoughts, feelings, and behavior. Nothing others do is because of you. That one insight can liberate you from so much unnecessary suffering. Chapter 4. The Third Agreement. Don't make assumptions. Think about how much pain comes from things we assume. That someone's angry with us, that we're not good enough, that we're being judged. Ruiz names it clearly. Assumptions are lies we tell ourselves that we believe are true. The human mind is uncomfortable with uncertainty, so instead of asking questions, we fill in the blanks, we write a story, and then we leave by it. The antidote: ask questions, clarify, communicate. You might be surprised how many problems dissolve when you simply say, "Can you help me understand what you meant?" Making assumptions is a form of emotional laziness. It leads to misunderstandings, hurt feelings, and broken relationships. But when you let go of assumptions, you start to see people as they truly are, not as the characters you've invented in your mind. The problem with assumptions is that we believe they're the truth, and often, that belief costs us peace. The Fifth Agreement, Part 2. Reclaiming Personal Power. Chapter 5. The Fourth Agreement. Always do your best. Now that we've deconstructed harmful beliefs, it's time to rebuild. With the Fourth Agreement, always do your best sounds simple, right? But Ruiz makes an important clarification. Your best is never the same. It changes from day to day, moment to moment. Your best on a day of joy is different than your best on a day of grief. The key is to stop self-judgment and just give what you can, no more, no less. Doing your best isn't about striving for perfection. It's about showing up fully without regret. When you do your best, you silence the inner judge because you know you held nothing back. Even more powerful, when you do your best in practicing the first three agreements, they begin to transform your life from the inside out. If you do your best always, over and over again, you will become a master of transformation. Your best becomes the alchemy. Chapter 6. The Fifth Agreement. Be skeptical, but learn to listen. Enter the heart of this book. The Fifth Agreement, Ruiz and his son, Don Jose, bring us to a higher level of consciousness here. The Fifth Agreement is the lens through which all the others come into sharper focus. Be skeptical, but learn to listen. Why skeptical? Because most of what we hear, both from others and from ourselves, is not the truth. It's filtered through fear, belief, domestication, and ego. We're told things that aren't real, yet we build our lives around them, but this isn't cynicism. This is conscious questioning. Ruiz urges us to doubt everything, not in a negative way, but in a way that seeks clarity and truth. The truth, he says, doesn't need us to believe it. It just is, yet we must also listen deeply. Behind every story, every belief, every opinion, there is a person. Listening with awareness opens space for compassion and understanding, even when we disagree. Be skeptical because most of what you hear isn't true. Learn to listen because behind every word is the truth of that person's experience. This agreement trains us to stop reacting and start perceiving. Chapter 7. The Storytellers of the Dream. Here, the Ruiz duo brings in a powerful image. We are all storytellers. Our identities, our memories, our expectations, they're all stories we've learned to tell ourselves. But most of us mistake our story for the truth. This is where the Fifth Agreement becomes transformative. You begin to hear not just your own story, but everyone else's stories too. You hear the fear in someone's anger. You hear insecurity in boasting. You hear the child inside the adult who judges you. When you become the witness instead of the actor, something incredible happens. You no longer take things personally, and you no longer get lost in assumptions. You begin to leave with freedom because you see the dream for what it is, a story, not reality. The truth exists long before any words are spoken, and often it's found in what's beneath the story, not inside it. Chapter 8. The Messenger. The authors challenge us to step into a new identity. The messenger. When you begin to leave the 5 agreements, you become a light to others, not by preaching, not by convincing, but by embodying a different way of being, one of awareness, clarity, and love. The messenger is someone who shares truth by living it, someone who respects others' dreams without needing to control them, someone who listens without judgment and speaks without poison. We've all received messages that shaped us, some empowering, others destructive. Now, Ruiz asks, what kind of message will you send to the world? You are the message. Everything you say and do is a reflection of your inner truth, so make it a message of freedom. The Fifth Agreement, Part 3, Living as a Warrior of Truth. Chapter 9. The Dream of the Planet. Now that you've been awakened to the dream, you begin to see the world differently. Not as it appears, but as it's been constructed. Ruiz calls it the dream of the planet. This dream is the collective belief system shared by humanity. What society tells you about success, beauty, power, love, even God. It's the invisible agreement we've all signed without realizing. To fit in, to be good, to obey the rules, even if those rules keep us trapped in fear. But now, you're no longer asleep in that dream. You've started to awaken, to question, and that's where the discomfort begins. Because the moment you challenge the collective dream, you start to stand alone. Most people are not living their own dream, they are living someone else's. This truth hurts, but it's also the key to freedom. Chapter 10. The Warrior's Path. What does it mean to be a warrior in this context? It doesn't mean fighting with others, it means facing yourself, your fear, your wounds, your old agreements, with courage and clarity. Ruiz redefines the warrior not as someone who conquers the world, but someone who masters their own mind. The warrior uses the 5 agreements like a sword and shield. Your word is your blade of truth. You don't take anything personally. You stay grounded. You avoid assumptions and see things clearly. You do your best, which becomes your discipline, and you're skeptical, but you listen deeply. This path is not about being perfect. It's about being conscious. The real battle is internal, battling the lies you've believed about yourself, your worth, and your limitations. The warrior has control over their attention. That is their greatest weapon. Chapter 11. Unlearning the Lie. Here's where things get practical and emotional. As you continue this journey, you begin to notice how deeply ingrained the old agreements are. They show up in your relationships, your work, your thoughts. Ruiz describes this as the parasite, the voice of judgment, fear, and guilt. This voice isn't you, it's the internalized voice of your domestication, but because you've believed it for so long, it feels like you. Unlearning the lie means challenging everything that creates suffering in your life. You start to hear the inner critic and say, that's not true. You start to see that guilt and shame were learned, not natural, and then gradually, you replace those voices with new agreements based in truth and love. Forgiveness is the key to self-mastery. You must forgive yourself for believing the lies, and forgive others for teaching them to you. Chapter 12. The Mirror of the World. Once you start to leave this new awareness, something powerful happens. The world becomes a mirror. Everyone you meet reflects something back to you. Someone's anger may show you where you're still reactive. Someone's peace may show you where you're capable of. The world isn't happening to you anymore. It's happening for you. Ruiz teaches that every interaction is an opportunity for growth. You begin to leave less from ego and more from awareness. You stop reacting, you start responding. You leave with more peace. Even when chaos surrounds you, and perhaps most beautifully, you stop trying to change others. You stop needing people to agree with your truth. You simply leave it. And that's enough. When you are aware, you don't need anyone else to believe in you. You believe in yourself. That's real mastery. The Fifth Agreement, Part 4. Creating Your Personal Heaven. Chapter 13. The Dream of Heaven. Now that you've broken free from the lies, the illusions, and the old agreements that once controlled you, a simple but radical truth emerges. You are free. Free to create your own reality. Free to leave with awareness, love, and joy. Free to dream consciously. Ruiz explains that most people live in a personal hell, a mind dominated by judgment, fear, guilt, and shame. But you don't have to. You can create your own dream of heaven, here and now, by choosing to live in alignment with your authentic self. How? Through love, through awareness, through the 5 agreements. Heaven, he says, is not a place you go when you die. It's a state of being where you are no longer at war with yourself. It's where you love without conditions, leave without fear, and express yourself with clarity and joy. Heaven is not a destination. It is a choice, made moment by moment. Chapter 14. The Authentic Self. In this chapter, Ruiz asks us to meet someone we may not have seen in a very long time, our true self, beneath the layers of identity, beyond the masks, rules, and roles we've been given by society. There is something pure, simple, and powerful, the authentic you. This is the self that was present before you were domesticated, before fear shaped your thoughts. When you begin to leave from your authentic self, everything changes. You speak your truth without harm. You listen without judgment. You love without needing to be loved back. You no longer pretend to be something you're not. You no longer hustle for worthiness. You simply are whole, enough, and complete. The real you is not the story you tell yourself. The real you is beyond words. And here's the most beautiful part. When you return to your authentic self, you don't just heal yourself, you give others permission to do the same. Chapter 15. Love Without Conditions. This is perhaps the highest teaching in the book. To love unconditionally. Unconditional love is the foundation of the new dream you are building. It's a love that doesn't depend on what others do, say, or believe. It isn't about control or possession, it's about freedom. Yours and theirs. Ruiz explains that real love says, I love you because I want to, not because I need to. There are no contracts, no manipulation, no hidden expectations. This love flows from you, not to get something, but because it is who you are. When you love this way, you no longer take rejection personally. You don't need to change others. You are free from emotional suffering. The only way to be truly happy is to love without conditions, not just others, but also yourself. Chapter 16. Becoming a Master of Awareness. The final chapter of the Fifth Agreement invites you to step into your full power as a master of awareness. What does that mean? It means you are awake. You know that everything you perceive is a dream, a story, and you choose the dream you want to leave. You no longer leave reactively. You leave with intention, clarity, and freedom. You are no longer a victim. You are the creator. Ruiz leaves us with this challenge. What dream will you create? You can create a dream of fear or a dream of love. The power is yours, always has been. You are the life force. You are the artist. You are the creator of your own dream. Final reflection and takeaway for listeners. As you close this journey through the Fifth Agreement, here's what you're left with. Be impeccable with your word. Speak truth with love. Don't take anything personally. What others say is about them, not you. Don't make assumptions. Ask questions and seek clarity. Always do your best, no more, no less. Be skeptical, but learn to listen. Hear the truth beneath the noise. This isn't just a philosophy. It's a path to personal freedom, a way to unchain your heart and leave with clarity in a chaotic world. When you master these agreements, you master yourself, and when you master yourself, you leave in heaven, no matter what's happening around you. Read the book to learn more. Thanks for listening to Book Buzz reviews and summaries.